Hello, hello. This is House of Chatter podcast. And Leanne, can you hear me?
I can, but your sound keeps dipping in and out. I don't know if that's just my end or if that's how it sounds for anyone else.
Let me see. Oh, I hear you.
Oh, you can hear me. Oh, fabulous.
Can you hear me?
I can. But
Oh, good. Sorry. Yesterday I had a lot of audio and connection problems. We had a pretty big storm over here in Seattle, and there's a lot of flooding and everything. So
oh
I'm
no.
hoping that this goes well today.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
How are you guys over there? It's like 6 a.m. over there today or
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, we're all right. We're all good. I had audio issues yesterday too.
Oh, that's
I filmed an entire hour-long video and didn't realize my audio wasn't working and had to redo it.
oh no. Yeah, I did it live for like 30 minutes and I was like, how come no one's talking to me? And then I realized I was on mute for 30 minutes and I had to like start all over with my live.
I think we've all done that.
Yeah, it's really easy to get like stage fright, even though you're not in front of like people, there's just so much that goes in the background and, the anxiety, the pre-show jitters and the anxiety that goes with it.
Oh yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with some of the, little twitches that we come up on. But I really wanted to talk to you because I was wondering about the sentiment and the feelings of Ryan Reynolds and maybe Blake Lively, but with the Deadpool movie, and there was some controversy with we heard about like the tax break that the movie got, and then there was
Yeah.
some news about that maybe some communities were kind of under budget. I don't want to say too much because I'm not familiar with, the news and everything, and I don't know which
Yeah,
news
you're cutting
cycles to
out.
follow that accurate as far as UK news and things like that. So I wanted to kind of like pick your brain and see where everything was over where you're at.
Yeah, we can do that. Because I cover the UK topics anyway, like what the state of the UK. Some of it
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I just kind of say, the news as it is. But
Uh-huh.
it can be a bit inflammatory. So, not in the. It's true, but a lot of people, some people take offence to hearing it. So, just to pre-warn you. But there's also while we're
Oh,
on the
okay.
subject, while we're on the subject of Ryan Reynolds and getting UK taxpayers' money, there's also stuff about Wrexham as well. His football club.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if
So
you
does
want, we can go
Wrexham
on
get
that
like
as
a
well.
Yeah, we can go over all of it. I'm wondering if Wrexham gets a tax break too, because it seems like Ryan Reynolds' strategy, at least overseas, is to get all of these tax breaks for the benefit of himself, and not necessarily the benefit of anybody else, including the local community.
Oh yeah, I mean absolutely, and it's not limited to Ryan Reynolds at the moment. The UK seems to be prioritising giving away UK taxpayers' money to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes over to our country. So, who's not from the country, and it's a real thing at the moment that's causing a lot of tension amongst British people, for sure.
So is that like a new thing that the UK has brought in for like a revenue stream of like maybe opening up their market to filmmakers from overseas, or is it kind of like they were thinking maybe we kind of put some revenue into everybody's pocket?
No. So what? I mean, these rules have existed. With Deadpool, Disney obviously they funded their film, paid their taxes, but then HMRC, who is our kind of Her Majesty's sort of revenues and customs, they kind of just they calculate and say, well, you are due a rebate, and then they pay back companies or individuals that rebate. That's kind of how that works.
Oh, okay.
I think where the
So
outrage
even
is.
if Ryan Reynolds, uh-huh.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think where the outrage is so for this film, I think the budget was something like it went. I think it went grossly over budget, and I've seen some people say it actually, in terms of profits, it actually didn't do that well, because so much money was spent on the film making it that what it got back was actually not great. But I think from what I remember, let's for argument's sake, they spent about £400 million to make the film. I don't know that. I'm not saying
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying that's what they actually spent. I'm just like, as an example, if they spent £400 million to make the film, what they did get back from whatever they spent was £60 million. And I think the UK's that's obviously come from UK's taxpayers' money. But what we're saying, sort of, the opinion of the British people is, we are literally having a tax rise, which our government promised us, ahead of the election, they would never do. So people are now being taxed more at the recent budget, and we've got things like the energy cap, the cost of energy, the cap on that is being lifted, and there's price rises everywhere, and we're in like a cost of living crisis and all kinds of things. We have got so many migrants coming over as well, and we are funding them, putting them up in hotels and giving them all kinds of stuff to. And we're pretty much not deporting anyone, so that is an ongoing cost. And the
Mm-hmm.
British people are questioning, why are we giving this money to billionaires who don't need it?
Right. Right.
And I think,
Especially Ryan Reynolds.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think with Deadpool and Wolverine, the rebate was not for him personally. I think it was Disney, from what I've read.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I have to kind of like just sort of say, I mean, that's what I read. I don't know whether he got any kickbacks from that. Because in theory, part of the cost was marketing the film, and the marketing of the film was largely done by Maximum Effort. So
Mm-hmm.
there may have been something for him. Yeah, I think so. I've got figures like the worldwide gross of the film was 1.3 billion worldwide. But it had a very high net production budget of 429 million.
So
Which
1.3 billion worldwide. Uh-huh.
worldwide. So that's not. That's not just money that the UK kind of that went to the UK. The production budget was one. It made it one of the most expensive
Right.
films ever made at 429 million. Um,
Yeah, that seems kind of high for, when you want to try to, make some money off of a film. It seems like the lower
Yeah.
budget would have been the smarter way to get a bigger profit, and I just can't believe that
Yeah.
movies or productions will just go over budget like the way they do, and then all of a sudden everybody's shocked why they didn't make any money.
I know, right? And when you compare that to It Ends With Us, so that kind of had like like a worldwide gross of around $350 million.
Mm-hmm.
But the budget to produce it, I think that was 25-30 million. So
Yeah,
comparatively, It Ends With Us actually achieved a higher net profit margin and overall greater financial success. It actually did financially better than Deadpool and Wolverine.
it did. Yeah, it
So
did.
yeah, it's I mean, even their budget of 30 million, I mean, I think that went I think the budget was actually 20 million, but it went up by 10 million because of Blake Lively's bad wardrobe choices.
Yeah, the wardrobe, the not
Todd
showing
Black,
up,
yeah,
the
Todd Black's fee, the composer's fee, yeah. So it
uh-huh.
inflated the budget, but it still remained 30 million, which is not bad.
No. And in Blake Lively's interviews, she actually talks about how small their budget is or was.
Yeah.
Like, we had such a small budget. We couldn't do this. Like, she couldn't believe how small the budget was. It was almost like she was too important to care about a budget or to pay attention to the bottom line when she's trying to be a producer. It's just,
Yeah, I
contradictory.
can't work with this. Yeah, no, that's definitely what I mean, she did moan about the budget a lot. She grossly exceeded the budget as well with her choices. Um yeah, it's just wild. But I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine, who, don't forget, Blake Lively also takes credit for a lot of the work and stuff that went into that. That just the budget just went, and shot over what it was originally. So the film didn't actually do as well.
Yeah, I can kind of see why they wanted it to make it a Barbie, what is it? A Barbie
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer
Yeah.
duo. Just I think it's just like cross promoting and riding on each other's coattails is what they were trying to do. But I
Yeah.
think now that we know more of what the It Ends With Us lawsuit was, I really feel like either an outside force kind of got into Blake Lively's ear and was like, you better hurry up and get yourself into shape to go and do this movie, or you better go do this movie because of the numbers. And I don't think she actually read the book because I don't think she knew what she was getting into. And then when she realized what she was getting into, she kind of was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I think what happened when she went on that hiatus in July over the summer is that maybe Ryan was like, hey, the budget is high. We need to like fix this. We both need to be successful or else we're going to be broke. I kind
Yeah.
of think that that's what kind of happens. And so there was like immense pressure on Blake Lively to like show up, to be in character, to be, in shape and do all these scenes and do all this stuff as they are trying to take over the movie at the same time. I just think that, all of this is connected in the end in some weird way that maybe we'll see, maybe we won't in the court records.
Yeah. I mean, we connected a lot. There was a lot of us actually at the start, especially when we got the timeline. We all went through the timeline. We looked for everything and anything there was on set dates. We have connected a lot of dots. One of the interviews from Blake Lively, she actually says that she came onto this film because she saw it as a franchise opportunity. So
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't see that interview.
yeah. So I don't know. Anita, who's
Yes.
yes. So Anita actually kind of I first saw that interview through her. So I'm not saying she's the first one who found it, but and highlighted it, but I definitely saw it myself through her. And she kind of pointed that out in her kind of, because she did a big sleuthing thing, which was, and she had a whole theory which was just wonderful, and a lot of it is actually tracked as well. And I when I sort of tried to explain, how calculated and how far back this whole conspiracy to take over the film goes, I often cite that interview. And the fact that, like, Blake Lively in her opposition to the motion for summary judgment actually admits that she spoke to Liz Plank before she accepted the role of Lily Bloom. And for me, like, as we know that partly, at least, well, definitely Liz Plank was involved in her getting that role. There's talk of Alex Sachs being involved as well. And those two characters are, I think, the kind of linchpins in the middle of all of this. I do think, because Liz Plank obviously had a prior friendship with Ryan Reynolds. She and she was obviously talking with Lively before Lively accepted the role. And then Alex Sachs, who was also brought on from an early stage, she's credited for being partially responsible for Lively getting the role as well. And then she's got a history of, she worked on the Florida Project with Andrew Duncan, co-founded a production studio with him, June Productions. Andrew Duncan was accused of sexual harassment. Alex Sachs kind of said nothing and almost, not ignored it, but, continued to work with Andrew Duncan for some time. And, I think it was about a year, and then suddenly responded and said, right, I'm taking control of the production company. And she basically lifted this production company from a man she was working with whilst he was being accused of sexual harassment. So she's got a form as well of kind of being opportunistic when a male colleague gets accused of these kind of, accusations. So there's a whole history. And when you look at the individual players, like, you can start sort of putting together, these women, what are they gaining in it? What history do they have? And I think there is a much wider conspiracy. I definitely don't think this was a standalone Blake Lively thing. I don't even think it was just Blake and Ryan. I think there were a lot of people who were either participants from the beginning or were recruited along the way. So yeah, I agree with you. I think
I think it might have been like the initial thought was like, let's take over the movie. And then once they got and told their famous friends like Sean Levy and Taylor Swift and Gigi Hadid, I think maybe everybody saw through, but you could see if Blake Lively and Taylor Swift were still friends, I'm pretty sure Blake Lively would have been visible in her music video. What is it? The Fate of Ophelia, and probably would have been visible in her docu-series of her last tour because it's so heavily focused on her personal life. And
Yeah.
Blake Lively was all there for her personal life. And you can see Taylor Swift's mom comment on her personal life and her love life, when maybe it would have been better TV if her famous friends also commented on her love relationship too. Oh, my audio's cutting in and out. Oh man, again. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
guys. But has there been a lot of backlash that you can tell from the Ryan Reynolds kickback or the rebate that they're getting? Is there like talk that maybe he shouldn't, film his movies there? Or is it like a whole anti-Hollywood entertainment sentiment going on with local budget and everything?
I think the backlash is that it seems to be more geared towards the government are under scrutiny for the decision. Because I think one of the news headlines was like, well, why are we paying Hollywood to make a superhero movie? Giving them so much money for coming here to make a superhero movie when like our government keeps going on about, well, we've got to make difficult decisions. We've got a 20, the number keeps changing, but currently I think the latest figure is we've got a 20 billion pound black hole that we've got to fill. They keep blaming, because they've only been in power for less than is it less than a year? Oh, this year's gone so fast. But they've only been in power for not too long, and they're kind of still going, well, it's not our fault. We didn't cause all the financial problems. It was the last government who were in power for 14 years, which is not untrue. But the sentiment is, it's not against Ryan Reynolds directly. It's not even against really Disney or Hollywood directly.
Mm-hmm.
It is more, government. Why would you give this kind of money back to people who really don't need it?
Yeah.
There is an
Yeah.
outrage.
I definitely don't think Ryan Reynolds. I'm sorry, Leanne. Leanne, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just
Did I
saying.
lose
Sorry.
you?
There's definitely an outrage about how the decisions are being made and the priorities of the inland revenue to be like the money is given back to people. Definitely, because you gotta like
Yeah,
for
it doesn't seem.
Oh, sorry. So no, I was just going to say, for an example, like for welfare, like benefits, for people who are on very low incomes or not working at all, not able to work, disabled. Like for 10 years, we had a cap on how much was paid for children, how much was given to individuals or a couple towards the cost of children. And there was a cap for
Uh-huh.
10 years on the government only provided money for the first two children, unless a subsequent child was conceived via like either twins or as part of like a kind of rape or something like that. And that money is money that was given to UK citizens, like it's money that's put in by taxpayers in the first place, but it's also the same kind of branch of government who gave the tax rebate to Disney make those decisions on people getting that money as well. So yeah, people are kind of annoyed really that we were so strapped that we couldn't fund all of the children that where there was more than two children in a family, putting a lot of children into child poverty, but we have enough money to give back to Disney.
Yeah,
Does that make
it's
sense?
a bad look for
Yeah,
Disney.
it's a really bad look.
So, I know that Deadpool went back. Did Deadpool go back to screen additional scenes for the end credits? Um, did that cause any backlash or maybe like a second look of, you know, maybe he's taking advantage of all of this because he went back and filmed additional scenes, seemingly mocking, you know, another person? Did
I
anybody
think, I
notice
mean,
that?
well, the one thing with the UK, I mean, there's not, like overriding positive sentiment here. And if I'm not, I can't speak for the UK as a whole, but we all know my sentiment on Ryan Reynolds or we should do by now. I think at the time, no one realized what was going on. Now the public knows more. I got to say, the public in the UK is not as, they're not following the lawsuit as closely. But the people who do are kind of really, like we're British, we're known for our, not being prim and proper. That's a bit stereotypical, but we're known for being typically British and polite. Um, but at the same time, we have a sense of humor in theory. So I don't think there's been a backlash about the fact that those additional scenes were, for the purpose of mocking Justin Baldoni.
So, Leanne,
Um,
I got you on your last part, and then I think my internet's cutting out.
oh, well,
Murphy's Law over here again.
yeah, I was just saying, I don't think there's been
Can
quite
you
the
hear
back.
me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
it seems good.
I mean,
Sorry, guys.
I don't think there's been quite the backlash. There's not. The UK is not as heavy on how they feel. In terms of this lawsuit as is in America. But I don't think
Mm-hmm.
there's really been particularly a backlash. Now we know that that those additional scenes were to mock Justin Baldoni. But that's not because the British wouldn't be outraged. I think it's because they are not really overall following. There's not as many people following this lawsuit.
Oh, really? Overseas?
Yeah,
Oh, that's interesting. So nobody
it,
really knows.
no. I mean, there are people, obviously. Those people follow people like us, and they are just as outraged as everyone else in the world who's following this lawsuit. But I think generally, the UK is in such a bad place right now, because I mean, the priority is not really to follow a Hollywood lawsuit involving sexual harassment, because we're having, daily actual kind of sexual assaults and rapes by gangs and so on and so forth all around the country. And I think in fairness, the priority is kind of in a different place.
Yeah, I've seen some of your news, and it's kind of scary. I feel for you guys.
It's
I think the
definitely,
world is changing. And
yeah, it's
yeah.
definitely terrifying over here, because I did one show. It's hard to keep up with my kind of UK news stuff because this case is just moving at such a fast pace, and this is I'm seeing this case through. But like I think in one episode we did a conversation about a train stabbing where 10 people had been randomly stabbed by someone on a train, a migrant. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. And My own daughter was due to be on that train, but my dad went and picked her up in the car at last minute.
Oh my gosh.
So my daughter and my 2 grandchildren would have been on that train otherwise, which is absolutely terrifying.
Oh my gosh.
Mm. So yeah, we've got quite a
Yeah.
lot
Oh
going
my
on.
gosh. Oh my gosh. That's shocking.
Yeah. I mean, we see a lot of
Wow.
like, Trump and Elon Musk, and not to make this political at all, but we see them talking about the state of the UK. They're not even kidding. It really is that bad. So just think of us.
Oh my goodness. That makes me worried for sending my own kids through like international travel. Um, my dad is in the Philippines and he keeps asking when I'm going to send over the kids. And I'm like, I'm really nervous about going outside of my bubble. I don't know the world anymore, and
Yeah,
anything can happen now. I mean,
I'm in a bubble
so
where
that's just,
I don't leave
I'll
my
have
home,
to,
and then I
I'm
just sit
honestly
and talk to
rethinking
American
that.
people all day. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I don't leave my house. I don't even think I know my neighbors.
my neighbors are my parents, so we're all good.
I feel like I'm safer in my bubble.
But there is
I'm sorry,
in
you cut out
addition.
for that last part.
Oh, sorry, I was just saying my neighbors are my parents, so we're kind of good.
You are so lucky to have that. My dad moved in with me after my late husband passed away, and we thought it was so great that we tried to buy the house across the street. And unfortunately, we couldn't do that. But it was like the saddest day when I had to tell my dad that he can go and retire and live his dream life and whatever. And he went off to the
Oh,
Philippines. It was just the saddest day for me and the boys.
yeah, no, I can imagine. I am fortunate. I've always lived close to my family. That kind of suits me. And now they're in their older years. It's nice to be able to take care of them. And then they're surrounded by their kids, their grandkids, and great grandkids now. So yeah, it's lovely.
Oh, that's such a blessing. That is such a
I
blessing.
I know.
Well, it seems like my internet connection keeps going in and out, but so I don't know how long the live stream's going to hold, but
Well, did you want to go over
I
Wrexham?
would love to collaborate. I do, yeah. Let's go
Yeah,
over Wrexham because Ryan Reynolds bought that soccer or the football team, as you guys say, before they were popular, right?
Yeah. So Wrexham they weren't doing well. I will give credit where it's due, even if I don't want to. um, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, and I think with someone else as well, they bought Wrexham. I don't know why that was the choice. But they bought Wrexham and they did turn it around. Wrexham is now having a lot more success. I mean, he's obviously done Welcome to Wrexham, the series as well, which Liz Plank had a role in. I think she was in one of the episodes as well. So yeah, credit where it's due.
Oh,
Wrexham
I
is
didn't
now
know that.
having success it wasn't having before.
Do you think that's because of Ryan Reynolds, or do you think that's because the team itself?
It's obviously the team itself because Ryan Reynolds is not scoring goals in the match, but I wouldn't go as far as
Mm-hmm.
to say that his presence is probably having a positive influence, or at least it was, because they're now not doing so well.
Oh,
So
because I
yeah,
was
I
kind
mean,
of thinking maybe Ryan Reynolds was like bringing in more money to buy better players.
it may be some of that. He may be better at marketing, um, raising, funding, etc. So there are. I mean, I'm not a huge. I'm not a huge follower of football in general, but there definitely seems to be, maybe better overall management, better team decisions. I mean, I don't know how much of that is
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Reynolds, or like directly, whether he has some kind of knowledge or skill in football, or whether he actually is just investing in, bigger names, not just for the actual team itself, but like managers, coaches, etc.
Girly,
Yeah.
girly 1209 says maybe he berated them too.
For 6 hours.
Yeah,
I
it was the
want.
6 hour
I
pep
know.
yelling talk is what happened.
I know. I know. I wonder if he asks any of them what their weight is.
Oh my gosh. And then yells at them for it.
Uh,
Like, you told me your weight, it's all your fault.
exactly. Oh, it's wild. Hey, girly. Oh, yeah. No. So, they obviously
Yeah,
now. What happened
I
more
can't
recently?
believe.
Sorry. Go on. You go.
Go ahead. Oh,
Um.
I lost my train of thought, but I don't know where I was going with that. But like maybe there's this like new fear that if you don't do well on the soccer team, you'll get like sent to the principal's office, and in reality you get sent to Ryan Reynolds and he gets to yell at you and threaten to like fire you or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's how I can
Yeah. I mean,
imagine that. But
even more insufferable, though. I've seen photos of Blake Lively at the club as well, so I can't imagine the punishment the guys are getting.
oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I've seen I saw, what was it, like she was doing an interview or something and someone was like, "Can you say hi to my girlfriend?" And she was like, "Hi girlfriend, I hope you dump him or you should dump him," or something like that. And I know that she was making a joke, but like it was just super mean, you know,
Oh yeah,
at that person's expense. And it kind of seems like them two are kind of, they have this maybe rapport that like it's an inside joke, but they are the only ones that know it's an inside joke. And so it's like
yeah.
an insult to like the rest of the party,
And you got to remember, I mean, it
you
kind of
know?
their humor, where they're kind of insulting each other, that kind of only works with each other if everyone else is in on the joke. And the British sense of humor, when we have a sense of humor, um, it is normally, it's like very quick-witted, and we've churned out some amazing like comedians like Ricky Gervais, and that's the kind of humor.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think we do better with sarcasm and dry humor than Americans and Canadians do. Um, but so our humor is quite different. So where they think they're sort of being funny, like if I like as a British person, that person probably would have found that quite insulting. Because
Yeah.
I don't even see what's funny about it, to be honest. But it's also it's quite personal humor that they both seem to use around basically complete strangers, expecting them to already get the punchline, and it just doesn't land. And that's why, in part, they kind of come across as assholes.
Yeah, they do. Like now that there's more, I think, light on them, they just seem really like mean.
Yeah.
And I'm starting that at least Ryan Reynolds, his comedy or his mannerisms have been this like dry humor. He hasn't pivoted from that at all. There's no range there. It's like he's doing what Blake Lively does. He's basically playing himself, playing a character.
Yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
I don't think that's necessarily works in the long run.
No, exactly. And the thing is, but the thing is Ryan Reynolds is known for that humor now. So we expect that kind of sarcasm and passive aggressiveness almost, because that's what it is, thinly veiled passive aggressiveness. And but we expect
Yeah,
that. We
it
know
is.
that's so typical for Ryan Reynolds. Like, and so even British people can look at it, and when he does it to them, you know, it can go one or two ways. It can either be taken as quite threatening and intimidating, or it can be taken as hilarious. Blake Lively doesn't have that kind of reputation for that kind of humor. She is just kind of trying to mimic what her husband is doing, and that's what she tried to do with the film. She tried to mimic her husband's success, in my opinion, and fell flat. So, but with Wrexham, so so football clubs, they do get state funded grants. These are, um, it's money that is given for a purpose. It's non-repayable, and it comes out of taxpayers, money. So this is not a rebate. This is not money they paid in and the government is giving it back. This is money that they have not paid in anything for, and the government is saying, "Here, have
Oh,
some money." So what happened with Wrexham? And I
oh
think
my
this is the
gosh.
bigger,
So
yeah,
he's just
milking us.
so government's just giving them straight money and
Yeah.
they don't have to pay it back. It's not a loan. It's
No,
nothing.
it's not
So
alone.
Ryan Reynolds is essentially getting money for this business
Yeah.
free, basically, just for owning
Yeah.
a football team.
Well, it goes. I mean, it's a little more nuanced than that. So,
That's crazy.
so what happened is, so football teams normally, it's not unusual for them to get a grant. The highest one has been around the 2 million mark, £2 million mark. Last year, Wrexham got around £2 million. Now that's the football team. This year, what happened, because it changed. So in September, Wrexham as a town was allocated £25 million to kind of do some developments and so on and so forth to spend on Wrexham. £18 million of that £25 million went to the football club, which is like 9 times more than what they had the year before.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that obviously took away a chunk of money as well from Wrexham as a whole for them to develop the town. Why that Ryan Reynolds, I will say, I have to say this, Ryan Reynolds
Yeah.
did not actually, he probably didn't ask for it. It was just someone made a decision to do that, which would not have been Ryan Reynolds. But also he didn't exactly say no thanks. However, it gets worse because less than 3 months later, he sold a stake. We don't know how much or how much for, but he sold a stake of Wrexham Football Club to an American private equity firm. After taking taxpayer money, he then sold part of the football club to an American firm.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, That's sketch. That's sketch. That's shady.
Well,
I don't.
so the
What do you
UK
think
is
about
kind of,
that?
oh, I'm really pissed off because, like, sorry, I keep swearing and I do it on my channel without thinking. Sorry. Um, yeah, I
No,
don't
you're
know.
fine.
Um, I suppose as someone who's British, whose taxpayers' money is going into this, yeah, I'm pretty, angry about it. Especially as they then, took the money and then sold part of that to, like an international company. It does feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of mocking a system, a bad system. The systems we have are bad. However, this does feel like it's just going a step further and mocking that system. Because these are people who do not need that money.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. It just seems like he's maybe using some things, some entities as a piggy bank, and then, you know, and then on to the next, money maker idea or kickback or whatever, you know. Um, that's
Yeah.
interesting. I wonder if that's why he's between Deadpool and the two lawsuits that he's facing with Mountain. Um, it kind of feels like maybe he's not desperate for cash, but maybe needing a little bit more money than what
Yeah.
he needed prior. Um, just, I don't know if Blake Lively's company is paying for the attorney fees or anything like that because she has an LLC. So I'm not sure how any of that, tax implications work either. But it just seems that like Ryan Reynolds is seeing an opportunity to make a little bit more off of the backs of hardworking people.
Yeah, and to give kind of the American listeners a conversion, 18 million pounds is about $24 million. Um, I think Ryan Reynolds was definitely funding her lawsuit. The amount of money they are spending is astronomical. When you think of all the work that's been done, including like it's all these sanctions filings, that is taking a lot of time to draft those documents, to argue them, to respond, to then do replies on top. There's all those depositions, all those subpoenas, including like over 100 completely unnecessary ones, which yielded nothing. And then the lawyers are having to like all the responses that we, for instance, when we filed motions to quash, or when the lawyers did meet and confers with Without a Crystal Ball and Shusty Flat. These things are all costing money. And I say it as like nearly all the time. What we see on the docket, which is already overwhelming, and people are kind of refer to it as, oh, they're flooding the docket. Um, they're not actually. This is quite normal, given how many defendants, past and present, or plaintiffs, past and present, there are in this lawsuit, and how complex it is. But what we see on the docket is about 10% of the work. What is going on behind the scenes, the sheer volume of the team is insane. And I think I think Ezra Hudson is charging somewhere in the region of about $2,000 an hour. And then when you've got like when she went for her deposition, she had 8 lawyers with her. So there's all these people are being paid, and those are the people we
Yeah,
know of.
that's crazy.
Yeah, there's all the associates, the secretaries, the paralegals, the various assistants and researchers as well. She has 3 law firms, because don't forget about Van Zandt's law firm. And they were representing Reynolds as well. They are quite often responding to what they respond to from Wayfarer, although like it's one document for 8 defendants. Some stuff gets passed out, like the Rule 11 sanctions was against was it the Rule 11 sanctions? One of the sanctions was against each individual defendant. Yeah. And then they're having to respond with different points as well. They are having to do motion to compels on people individually and or their companies. And there's just so much going on. But she must be in the tens of millions of pounds now in terms of legal fees. And she on her own is not worth that much. I think her net worth was around 30 million. And I don't think it's coming from her companies because they did so badly because they were such bad products. I don't know. I don't know what is. I don't know how it's being funded, but I think
her
Ryan
net
Reynolds,
worth was around 30 million.
yeah, but I'm pretty sure there's resentment in House Reynolds at this point because it's like, you know, he's probably saying you better be able to prove this because I think it's costing him, and I think they are relying on that treble damages.
I think
Yeah.
so too. And now what I'm wondering is did Blake Lively go home and tell her husband something, or did her husband see something that he did not like? And I'm trying to figure out what exactly happened.
So I do
For
have a
example,
theory.
circumcision. We can just start a file, you know?
I mean, I think they're codependent. They've got a really unhealthy codependent relationship because we know that he moved the filming schedule to fit around them being together at the start of production. Then we know that the 17-point list that was sent on 9th of November, that coincided with the day that Deadpool announced that it was going to restart filming, and then she managed to delay that meeting and her return to filming until after Deadpool had already been filmed, including the extra scenes. So yeah, I think they just kind of I don't know whether it's him being possessive and needing her at all times, or it's a bit of both. It's bizarre. I do feel like he is probably controlling a lot of her career.
Yeah, and I think that maybe this lawsuit was a win-win for Ryan Reynolds. So if Blake Lively totally destroyed her entire career with this lawsuit, Blake Lively would go back at home and being the housewife. If
Yeah.
they were successful in this lawsuit, they would go on with more franchises. So it was a win-win for Ryan Reynolds, but it was a win-lose for Blake Lively.
Yes. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, the one thing they definitely did do was take advantage in all aspects of Wayfarer. You know, the good nature that got misrepresented into something it wasn't. They used at the cost of Wayfarer the marketing to cross promote their own brand. Not just Blake Lively's, also Aviation Gin that got marketing in through the It Ends With Us marketing promotion. So they definitely capitalized on all of that. Oh, hey, Jess Cleasy.
But he's losing hair. He's not Jason Statham. Sorry, I just saw this comment. So yeah, you were cutting out there a little bit, but
Oh, sorry.
yeah, they totally used the film's marketing to in my opinion, to artificially inflate their sales, because not only did they use the marketing campaign, like hundreds of cans of product, probably pour everything out and then used them for flower vases. Is how I think that maybe that went. And so as promotion for her movie was going, her sales were going up because she was promoting her movie and the brand. And I think the reason why Justin Baldoni specifically was pushed out was his association with No More, and No More advocating, or at least providing education, that there's an association with alcohol consumption and DV. And I think if Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were like, hey, can we cross promote Betty Booze or Betty Buzz? No More probably would have said, that's not a good look. It's not what we want to stand by. No More did have some input at the end, one movie instead of a sequel. And I think that maybe Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds recognized that No More was going to be a barrier to their cross promotion.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And so they kind of had to push Justin Baldoni out. And then when Justin Baldoni was doing his promotion of, domestic violence, he got the better, the better reception, because he was been open about it from day one. And Blake Lively is like, bring your friends, bring your florals. It's a love movie. She doesn't know who she loves. Is it Atlas? Is it Ryle? No, she loves Atlas. No, she loves Riles. And if you look at the marketing campaign that Maximum Effort wanted, they specifically said it's not a love story. And then Blake Lively's at Book Talk saying she loves Ryle. No, she loves Atlas. No, who do I love?
Yeah, so she's going to flirt with her ex in front of her abusive ex.
I think they lost their moral character in this.
Yeah. Yeah, and
right.
it was just it was not believable, just from the perspective of, if she was so scared of Ryle, then why would she be openly flirting with Atlas?
Right.
And that's a good point.
I think Maximum Effort. Yeah, 80% of essay involves alcohol, either by the attacker, the victim, or both. Yeah. That's when I was serving in the military, I was essayed, and this is one of the reasons why JAG actually refused to prosecute my case, was because of the alcohol consumption, even though there was a confession. So I can totally see how that cross promotion wasn't going to gel with anybody in advocacy, or any victims or anything, because of this statistic.
Yeah. And that's the
and
same.
It's just I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm cutting you off.
No, I was going to say that it was the same in my situation, because I was married in domestic violence marriage for 8 years, and he become abusive increasingly as his alcohol and drug use increased. Like he didn't have a problem when we married, but over the years he sort of acquired one, and then it got worse, and his behavior was worse and more intense, and it was definitely related to whether he had been drinking or using cocaine that night, so I agree entirely with what Jungle said. And I think that is and that's the crux of, so many people have got these experiences and have those connections, and that's where the backlash is coming from. And it it will never not frustrate me that Blake Lively just won't, even a small piece of her just won't show a bit of humility and go, yeah, okay, I do actually see what you're saying. It wasn't a good look. I'm sorry. But she just will not do that.
Yeah, and half of me is like, Blake Lively, how come you don't realize the own toxic symptoms of your own relationship? You're gonna
Yeah.
have your husband show up on set at like just randomly, and then you're fighting in your trailer, and then you're being yelled at for breastfeeding and not covering up, like
Yeah.
like there. Or my favorite is, I didn't know this before, but Blake Lively used a dog walker to walk her dog, right?
Yeah.
Because I guess she didn't want to walk her own dog, so she used a dog walker to walk her own dog. And Ryan Reynolds was so upset with her minute and be Ryan Reynolds, And I really don't think being yelled at because you use somebody else to walk your dog is really the most healthy thing in the world.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like a red flag,
No.
for
Oh,
20
yeah. No.
minutes. I mean, that's a long time to get.
I completely thank you, Jessica Lisi, and sorry for your experience as well, Django. I tell you what though, I don't. This is something that I haven't seen anyone kind of comment on. I'm not saying that no one's commented on it, but just think about this, right? In the same month, in May 2023, Blake Lively both accuses Justin Baldoni of both coming into her trailer for hours to cry whilst telling her how awful her wardrobe
Oh,
looked,
I think
but also then
I'm
accuses him
out.
of calling her wardrobe sexy. So it's like, what?
I think we missed the last part. I think my internet dropped out. Can you repeat that?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, in the same month, in the month of 2023, Blake Lively simultaneously claims that Justin went into her trailer and spent hours talking to her about how awful the wardrobe was, but also sexually harassed her by telling her how sexy her wardrobe was. Has anyone noticed that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how can they both be true?
I just think the sexy comment. I think the sexy comment, and I'm sorry guys about the sound, but I'm really like entrenched in this conversation. But I think the sexy comment as an actor, or even for me as a woman who has gained weight and doesn't feel good about their body, if you call me sexy, I'm going to take that as a compliment no matter what, especially if the script says it's sexy. I have no problem with that. Call me sexy. You're paying me $1 million. Call me whatever you want. Just don't call me a bee behind my back.
Yeah,
So
most
I think
rational
she just,
women will take it like that.
like, I have no problems telling my best friend, that dress looks really good on you. You look sexy. Were you going for sexy? You better be going for sexy, because what's the point of wardrobe and costumes and makeup and all this stuff if we can't look a certain way? At least look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think if someone was to say to me, I mean, again, I don't know whether it's a British thing, but we have kind of a bit of, if someone says to me, does this outfit make me look fat? If if it does, I will just say, yeah, change it. It's not a good look on you. But not meaning that they are fat, just that outfit is not particularly flattering to them, and for their height, for their shape, for just their body type, whether it be like an apple or a pear, or they got a very straight body. It if it doesn't look good, then yeah, they will get fact checked on that. Um, oh, sorry, not fact checked, home truthed on that. But I agree with you. Like most normal, sane, rational women, if they were told, look, this outfit looks sexy, it looks pretty, it looks nice, most women do not have a complete meltdown over that. I can't understand. And Jenny Slate, I think Jenny Slate really, she really upsets me quite a lot actually, because I can't see what her problem is. She seems to be just angry at life, at everyone. I will never be able to get my head around someone who complains about a company who's given up a lot of money to give her some, get her somewhere to live that's safe for her child. And then they, literally the comment, I
Right.
think the comment was, we prioritize protecting new mothers, or something to those words. I mean, what is wrong with that? What's offensive about that? And like, why would you go to make a complaint instead of just saying thank you, I appreciate what you've done for me, what you've done for my family? I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna be it, and in fact, wasn't it like she already got a housing allowance and then
Yeah, they
she
were
gets
already paying for the
another
house
housing
that she.
allowance?
Yeah, so they were already paying for the house that she had originally. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
then there was, I don't know whether there was a problem, and it was, I believe she picked the house. She was given the allowance, and then she had to find the house. She chose the place she ended up in, and then I think there was something about it. I'm not entirely sure what it was that wasn't safe for her toddler. If I remember correctly, that's how it went. So Wayfarer stumped up money to get her out of her, um, like the agreement, and get her somewhere else. Um, but she still found enough of a gripe to complain about them. I don't get it.
Yeah, and like what employer are you ever going to find around the world who prioritizes your family, your where you're living, you know what I mean, over your
Yeah.
job,
Well, you wouldn't, especially
Like
like here. It's hard enough to get time off. If your child is in hospital, or if need to go to your aunt's funeral. You got to take that as holiday more often than not. Not there's no There is things like compassionate leave, carers leave, etc., etc. But they're only for close members of family, so they don't extend beyond parents and children. Some companies accept siblings, but many don't. But like aunts, grandparents, no, they're too far removed. Well, some people may have been raised by their grandparents. It doesn't matter. They still would not get that day off, and then they'd have to use a
mm-hmm,
paid annual leave day instead. So there's no compassion in that sense. And in that particular
mm-hmm,
instance, it doesn't just piss me off that Jenny Slate made the complaint. It pisses me off that people like Sony, like Alex Sachs, all heard that and agreed with her. Like, how can you
mm-hmm.
as women take that view? Because I can't. And I think most of the people listening cannot see how that is a reasonable and rational viewpoint for Jenny Slate to have taken.
Right, right. Jungle Vet Jill says Nepo Blake married at 23 had power, and I don't believe she's had to go through what most women do. And I totally agree with that. I think I think that her marrying Ryan Reynolds was not only a PR move, a business move, a life move, but also a love move. And she she got she got it good when she married Ryan Reynolds. Like she stepped up from like D list to like A list and didn't even have to do anything.
Yeah. And she has actually said in interviews as part for the promotion of this film that she has, in her words, thankfully never had to experience, anything like, the domestic violence that is portrayed in the film. She's admitted that she's never been through that. The spin around what her mother went through, which to me closely mirrors Colleen Hoover getting up and talking about the book being about her mother. And then there's even dispute over whether the book is about her mum's abuse. But that only seemed to come out in response to backlash a long time after the film was released during the lawsuit. There was no mention of that at all during the marketing, where it would have been appropriate when she was actually being asked about this sort of stuff. Blake Lively herself has said that she has never experienced, domestic violence or an abusive, controlling relationship. So, yeah, she has had
that she
good
realizes
in many ways.
I'll add that. Where's my sound? You cut out a little bit. The similar situations that we have.
Oh, yeah. I was just saying she has admitted that she has not had to experience what most women have had to experience. And her talking about her mother's experience, that only come in the middle of the lawsuit, not at the not during the promotion of the film, when she was being actively asked about domestic violence and could have shared the experience then, because and I felt like the way she talked about what her mum went through, etc., and how her mum survived something, it felt like she was just basically mirroring what Colleen Hoover did. No, I don't believe Colleen Hoover either. But Elsie found contradicting answers in interviews from Colleen Hoover about how much of the book is actually about her mum. And in one interview, she says it was only the oven scene, which in itself looked like more like an accident than domestic abuse, because he burnt his hand and then threw his hand away, and her face was kind of stuck there. So that particular scene appeared as an accident. Colleen Hoover said that was the only scene, part of the book that her mother actually experienced, and I think she says that in the epilogue of the book as well. But then in a different interview later on, I think as the film was kind of either going into production or post-production, she then says most of the book was based on her mum. So her story keeps changing. Blake Lively's story keeps changing, and she definitely did not experience, what, by her own admission, what
it does. Even mom decided to leave after her dad threw a TV at her. That's one thing I heard from Colleen Hoover as far as it related to the book. And then I thought that was wild. And I'm like, how come you didn't put that in the movie? I know. That.
And she wasn't even 3. She wasn't even 3. Who's got that kind of memory?
Right. She wasn't even 3 when that happened. Like
no.
2
well,
or
the
something.
Parents were divorced by the time she was, before she was 3 years old. And her own words are that she had a good relationship with her dad. Her dad has passed away, and it kind of felt to me, and this is just my opinion, like it felt like once her dad passed away, it's almost like she threw him under the bus to then say, I'm writing a book, we're making a film about all the terrible things my dad did to my mum. But she had forgotten that she had said that actually her dad was great with her, and that she didn't, because she's written the book from the vantage point that she had witnessed her mum being abused, which is what Lily Bloom does before she enters her own abusive relationship.
Mhm.
And it's like, I don't know,
Mhm.
I feel a bit icky about it. Oh yeah, TV was massive, weren't
Yeah,
they back then?
like yeah, back in the day, TVs are huge. You could throw that. Yeah, that'd have been like He-Man strength. Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Colleen Hoover in the beginning had really good intentions, and maybe she mixed up a lot of her experiences as a social worker and probably lent some of those experiences to the book.
Yeah.
Um, because working in public health, you you come up like that. I work in healthcare and there's stalking, there's people who are sleeping with scissors under their pillows because they're afraid that their attackers are going to come back. There's women where they have to co-parent with their attackers and public health gets involved because we're trying to help everybody in this very complicated, sensitive situation. And I think that maybe Colleen Hoover took all that and then she figured out that if it's a personal experience, it's more monetary and more popular because trauma brings attention. And then once she made a movie, she got starstruck and saw Blake Lively, and Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are like, we just see the numbers. We don't even care about the book, obviously, because no one's read it. Because if they did, they wouldn't have had such a huge problem with the script. And I don't even think they
Yeah.
read the script,
No.
you know?
Oh, she didn't read it, so she had to write her own.
So exactly. And can I tell you that rooftop scene, when I saw the movie, I was sitting like, who talks like this? What is this? It just seemed like it was just a big mockery of Ryle, either of Ryle or Justin Baldoni. And in the rooftop scene, I swear to God, you could see his face look at her being like, what the fluff are you talking about? And then he looks to the side, like to the right or the left at something like, is she serious? And then looks back at her. Like, that rooftop scene, whoever wrote it, if Ryan and Blake wrote it, if Ryan just wrote it, they sucked at it. They sucked at it.
They did. They absolutely did. I mean, I think there was like a lot of bringing together of certain points, of I think like the cherries line, they're pretty pleased with cherries on top. Like that line was said in the proposal. We've seen I'm not saying that these were all put in by Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds because of previous films, but there's a lot of similarities. Like the slow dance scene is very similar to a slow dance scene that Lively and Reynolds' characters had in the Green Lantern film. Um,
Oh
Lively and
my
Reynolds also had,
gosh.
yeah, they also had a rooftop scene in the Green Lantern film. Um, I don't know. It just feels like they're kind of stamping their brand. And Blake Lively did say in an interview on, I think it was Heart Radio with Emma Bunton from Spice Girls. She actually says that there's a lot of her in the movie. She's all over this movie. She used those words, so it made me sort of start wondering, right? Okay, how much of the rewrites are personal things? And I questioned the whole cherries thing. Like Blake Lively's obsession with cherries is like that's a thing because I've found so many pictures of her wearing jewelry that have got cherries on. She put the is it Lana Del Rey song "Cherries" in the film as well, against everyone's wishes.
Oh yeah.
And there are multiple references to cherries. I've seen her in
Mm-hmm.
dresses that are covered in cherries, and it's like, what is this thing with cherries? Is there an inside joke there between her and Ryan Reynolds?
I don't know, but that's a good point. The obsession with cherries.
Yeah.
I'll have to dig into that. I didn't realize,
Mm,
and I didn't realize that there was a rooftop scene in the Green Lantern. That's interesting.
yeah, that's where the characters
That's really
actually they have an
interesting. So
almost
maybe they're just
identical they have like an almost identical kind of moment. It's not where the characters meet for the first time in Green Lantern, but it's where they kind of I think they have this kind of heart to heart and all of this stuff, and they kind of grow close sitting on a rooftop. Yeah, I'd say watch the film, but really, honestly, don't waste that time of your life. You can't get it back. It's awful.
right. There's a lot of other things we can do than watch Green Lantern.
Oh yeah,
So then
but
maybe so then maybe when Ryle said that line where he was like, I want to fluff you, maybe that was Ryan talking to Lively during their Green Lantern memories. And maybe that's why Lively was just laughing through that whole rooftop scene. You know,
yeah, possibly. I
like
mean,
maybe there really was an inside joke in that script and it came out and they were the only two that knew it.
yeah, it could well be. I think there were. I mean, they've already admitted that there were a lot of Easter eggs in this film, and a lot of things that were deeply personal that were put into the film. And I think that's what annoys me so much about this, right? Is when she is simultaneously arguing that she had no power and no control, which are essential elements of harassment. Like the whole concept of harassment pivots around that there is a power imbalance. So, and she is trying to say, well, I was powerless, I had no voice, whilst seemingly controlling absolutely everything. And it's not like, now we know as well with the rooftop scene, one of the things we now know is because Ryan wrote that and was there for certain meetings, like the April meeting where he first screamed at Justin for the weight comment, the Dragons meeting, which was a separate meeting, and so on and so forth. So it's not like, I think some people think, well, Ryan was away filming around the first phase of production. So, he had no idea what was going on. No, he was there. He was there and he was actively contributing and interfering with the film. He was rewriting script. So, if she was being sexually harassed, if she was made to film a birth scene, for instance, with her lower half nude, as she is claiming, is there any world that if Ryan's prepared to scream for 6 hours over a weight comment, are we seriously saying that Ryan Reynolds has not stormed on set and had everything shut down? I don't believe that.
That's true. That's a very good point. He was all over that set, all over the script, and he was probably all over the 30-point agreement that is a total mystery, in my opinion, of where that document came from.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the reason
Because
that
I
Colleen
think that
Hoover
30-point document. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I think the reason that Colleen Hoover gelled so well with Lively and Reynolds is because they marketed the film the way she wanted them to. Because Colleen Hoover had already herself attempted to make light of domestic violence and market it as a fluffy, cutesy thing with a coloring book and nail polish, and she got backlash. So, and I did a whole thing on this actually, but when Blake Lively then comes around with her star power, and then it makes it all about florals and let's drink booze and do our hair and sit and braid each other's hair, and paint nails and crap. Um, Colleen Hoover is now getting the film marketed the way she wants. She's not having to spare any money towards it because Wayfarer are putting the bill, and all the backlash is going to Lively, so she's not even getting hit.
Oh, that's true. I feel like some of the things that were marketed, like the nail polish, I think they could have thought of a better way to maybe not only market that, but like, I don't know, do
Yeah.
something different, like maybe give a portion of proceeds back to domestic violence, or like get that new nail polish technology that tells you when there's a roofie in your drink or something. I think that everybody took advantage of the marketing except for Justin Baldoni and Wayfair, because they're the only ones who stayed true to the marketing despite the takeover, because they took it over fine. But once Justin Baldoni knew they were taking over, he went and he advocated, for no more, and, awareness and support for DV victims. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I just think that, I don't know, I just think in the end, this is just a case of morals versus. Well, we've gone on for like 90 minutes. I'm not sure how long my internet's going to hold out, but I intimate conversation, and thank you for sharing some of your life with me and
Oh,
with my audience. I really do appreciate it. So I hope I can collaborate with you in the future.
oh yes, for sure, definitely. Thank you for having me, for inviting me. But
Oh,
yes, I would absolutely love to. And I've already said actually I will be doing a live stream soon. I am overdue my own live stream. I haven't done anything since Van Zandt Day actually. So I will be doing something soon to kind of do like a summary of this case because there are so many, related cases as well as the main cases, and a lot's happening. Um, and do like a Q&A as well. So if you would like to join me when we do that, we'll try and work that out.
yeah, I would love to. I would love to.
There we go. Yeah, we'll do that then. Um I'm having problems with messages on X. I will just say that. So I may not always see your message, or my messages may not always be going through. Do you have anything else? Are you on Instagram?
I am on Instagram under different usernames. What I'll do is I'll message you maybe on Instagram and even on X, and I'll just give you some more of my contact information, and we can go from there.
Yeah.
Because I'm not always on Instagram.
No, that's what right. It's just because I'm having problems with messages with, it's not even certain people. It's just like intermittently, and I'm like, yeah, it's really annoying actually. So if you drop me a message somewhere, um, with the best way to contact you, then I can work and sort of plan something to do a live stream where we maybe do something more general and then have a powwow but also answer questions. Yeah, Team
Yeah,
Emily.
would love to. Would love to.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
I, all right,
All right, well,
jump off
thank
of
you very much.
here and we'll end this live stream. Thank you everybody for joining us. And Leanne, I will message.
Okay then. Yep. Thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you very much as well for having me. Really enjoyed it. It was lovely to talk to you.
Oh, anytime. I love having you on, and I'm so sorry about the sound and cutting in and out.
Oh, it's
Hopefully next
okay.
time it'll be better. So with me, Leanne, I'll catch you on the outside. House guests, I think we will be skipping tomorrow's video, but Sunday we'll cover the HR stuff of it all. Okay, thanks guys. I'm going to end the live stream. Bye.